think y'all by now know we got Princella, Pastor P. Do you got any other nicknames that you go by?
You know, they call me the Queen Maker.
The Queen Maker. The Queen Maker. How many queens have you made, do you feel like, since you started?
Whew, thousands. I'm spanning across the globe. So I've changed a lot of lives. Because, you know, being a queen is about being sovereign and being able to stand on your own and govern your own life and use critical thinking capabilities. You know, so I've really changed a lot of people's lives from all over the world. So I can't put an exact number on it, but I know it's in the thousands.
No, that's real. That's real. Now, you know, when you first started the YouTube game, right, and you start making your mark, and now, you know, you fast forward and you're one of those people that's sought after, looked after as far as being an orator, speaking, giving advice. How has your life changed since the first time you've been on YouTube till now? Now, you know, you do come back. I see you with the blingery on. So the YouTube streets must be treating you well. Talk about the transformation. You know what I'm saying? We do see you glowing up. We see the glow up.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, you know, life is about transforming. So the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you tap into unrealized parts of yourself. So when I first started this thing, it's always been about women's empowerment for me. Mm-hmm. But I learned so much going along, and what I've come to realize, part of the glow up for me is realizing that women need a lot more help than they're actually getting. Because their issues are not just surrounded by men. Most of their issues lie within themselves. And coming to realize that the message has taken on a new evolutionary path in a direction that I didn't even know how deep it could be. But at this stage in the ball game with leadership development and things like that, we're evolving into speaking at conferences and events and things like that to really, really hone down where women need to really transform to help themselves, because I think we get really lost in this idea of relationships. So where I've evolved into is really more of a spiritual direction as opposed to just focusing on relationships, if that makes sense.
That's good, because I was actually going to ask you, right? If anybody's followed you, right, you have some quote unquote controversial, if you will, thoughts about men versus women or men and women. Mm-hmm. Have any of those thoughts or the things that you preach, has any of those changed or evolved, right? I remember watching Malcolm X movie, and he said that
men versus women is always going to be a thing.
Only black people till he traveled the world and seen that other white people believe in Islam just like they do. Mm-hmm. And so he evolved, and that's kind of what changed him. Now that you speaking to many women, many men about these scenarios that you preach, has your stance changed, or is it still the same?
It's still the same, but it has evolved, because when I began doing this, I've always saw it in phases, and I've always saw it as an evolutionary path.
That's life.
And in my mind, I've always known that women needed a lot of help, that women needed a lot of development. But in order to start that process, women needed to know about men, because ultimately women don't know anything about men. They think they do, but they don't. They know nothing. And so a lot of women have their identities wrapped up in men. So speaking about men, men are really only like 10% of the equation. Women are 90% of the equation. So after I talked about men, men are men. They can't be anything more than that. They're not going to change. They're not going to become cats, dogs. They're not going to evolve into women.
Like us.
So after I finish speaking about men, there's really nothing else to tell women about men that I hadn't already told them. So once that conversation is over, now we have to turn the mirror towards women. And what you find out is that in these dynamics, 90% of the discussion has to be on women. And I find that women have a lot of problems. I find that women are very, very narcissistic and they do not realize it. I think women lack a lot of self-awareness and how I've taken my message, because I've got a little comedic edge. I find a way to show women themselves in a way that not many people can get women to admit that they're wrong.
Yeah.
I have a way of getting women to admit, damn, I'm a terrible person. Right? I've gotten women to see how terrible they are as friends, as relationship partners. Women are terrible relationship partners.
Most.
But, you know, for me, it's about the truth. This is not me taking sides, because I believe that the world is in shambles. I believe that the communities are jacked up. I believe that, and all of this has to do with human behavior and how the sexes relate to each other and how the sexes relate to the planet. So it's not all on men. Men have their things that's wrong with them.
For sure.
I spoke about that.
But the question I was going to say is that with men, right, I feel like as a man, we're held accountable at almost every turn, right? Your mama holds you accountable, your friends hold you accountable, everybody kind of holds you accountable. Do you see the same type of path for women?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
I think women are allowed to be, they're allowed to be delusional. They're allowed to not be disciplined. See, give you an example. If a boy child is crying and a girl child is crying, if he fell and she fell, they're gonna look at him and be like, boys don't cry, this, that, and the other. And they'll just look at her, that's what girls do, they're just emotional. Let them cry, let them do this. Well, that's bad.
Yeah.
Because
we don't do that over here with our culture.
as girls grow older, they never know how to
regulate emotions,
control and govern their emotions. They're allowed to allow any emotion, anger, frustration, sadness, depression, no matter what, they're allowed to express it however they want to express it. I've also come to the conclusion that
if there's no order, there's going to be chaos. So it's very true that people should, as their children grow up, men or women, teach them how to regulate and control their emotions. But it's sad that the world has made it where men are not allowed to express themselves in those type of ways. It's like, be a man, you being a punk or acting like a sissy or whatever, they say. So far she dead on.
Well, let me back up. Because everybody knows that I date women.
Right.
And when it comes to me speaking about relationship dynamics, a lot of the rebuttals always say, well, lesbian relationships have so much more violence. They only say that because they're thinking about a relationship where a man might be putting his hands on a woman. They're not including the other side of the equation where women are putting their hands on men and men are not calling the cops.
True, yeah.
Women are very violent. A woman will put her hands on a man. She will hit him, spit in his face, call him all kinds of names, and everything is totally fine. Women are allowed to do this.
Yeah.
And nobody should say anything about it. Now, these women they will be in these relationships and they will hit a man and they will take that same behavior and they'll take it to a lesbian relationship. See, it's the same person.
See, I think a lot of women also have become like that because just like it used to be a law that men could hit their wives as long as it was only with like a board so big or their hand. So I understand where she's coming from too. And when women have been allowed to exhibit aggressive behavior with men, And sadly, I think a lot of women act like that because they never really felt truly safe around men if they didn't have like a father or someone. A lot of women have went through perhaps like an abusive relationship, whether it's with a father or whoever, a male figure. So that's not all the cases, but I'm saying I think that plays a huge part in it.
Person, same behavior, right? But it's looked at as different because the man is stronger and he's expected to hold himself. But a lot of times in a lot of these relationships, women are extremely narcissistic and violent. And this is what I have discovered as I continue to work with women. And so what I realize is that women actually want men to be slaves. They actually want men to be their personal slaves.
But you did preach that men are slaves in our first interview.
Yes, they are. They are slaves, but who are they slaves to? They're slaves to corporations, right? They're slaves to the military. They're slaves in everything that they do. Their whole purpose was for them to work for somebody. And that's what you see. The man then is a slave to his sex drive. And by a man being a slave to his sex drive, he turns around and becomes a slave to a woman who expects him to be a slave to his sex drive and her. So she uses that as a manipulation tool to try to get that man to do whatever she wants him to do. Well, here's the problem. Women don't live in reality. A lot of women are very, very, very delusional. And so they have these ideas about men in their head, what they want these men to be. It's like they got a movie and they have a cast. And there's a role for this knight in shining armor that's going to sweep her off her feet and worship her and only her for eternity. His eyes see nobody else but her. His phallus sees nobody else but her. And so she wants that man. She finds a man that she likes. She creates this picture. She's driven by sex, and she wants to trap that man to worship her for eternity. And if he does not play to every single thing that she has in her mind, she wants to blow up the world. She wants to set off a detonator to destroy everything around her if things don't go exactly her way. And so what I come to realize is that
Acting like a bunch
a
of
lot
school
of
children,
men are struggling, trying to placate to the delusions of women. Not only are they struggling trying to placate to the delusions of women, they are still struggling trying to control just their own biological urges and their neurological messages that are going. There's a lot of things that are going on with men, right? And because women ultimately don't care. Women don't care. Women say they like men. Women say they want men. But I've come to discover that women don't like men. And the only reason that they're dealing with men is because they have this addiction to sex and power. And they feel like they can get a man to do what they want them to do and placate to their ego. That's the only reason why they're dealing with him. But if a man starts talking, if he starts expressing himself, women will write it off as mansplaining. They'll write it off as misogyny, all of that, no matter what.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of frustration that's going on with men. Because a male is a male. Everything that I said about males has not changed. That is still the same.
It hasn't changed, right? But I do feel like men will definitely receive this version way better. Because now it's like you're actually saying a lot of the things that men have been saying. Like the accountability piece, like I feel like because men don't want to get killed, they don't even speak on it. Like it's almost like an unwritten rule. A man will walk in, he'd be like, You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
they won't speak on it because they get killed online, they get called sassy, they get called whatever. And so you have now stepped into this role, and we're sitting like, go ahead, we rooting you on now, because now you have taken on the role to, like you're saying, kind of like the Kevin Samuels was, quote unquote, trying to get them to see what we see, but we just can't express it.
But you got to be able to respect both sides. The men that need to be addressed of their issues, and the women that need to be addressed with their issues.
Your brains are not wired the same. You don't have the same capabilities as women. So you all's communication abilities are not nearly as strong as women. So y'all don't even really know how to convey to a woman to a way that she will really understand what you're going through. She can't see it, and y'all don't know how to explain it. The thing with me is I can see both sides. See, I'm not on men's side and I'm not on women's side. I'm on the truth side. And I can see men and I can see women. And because women have the womb and women are the mothers, and they are the first teacher of the child. The fact of the matter is that the majority of the weight does lie on women. Women just don't realize it because women think that they're the same as men. Now men know, because you all don't have the power that women have. And so it comes to a place where people are blinded by their privilege. Privileged people don't know that they have privileges. So the people who don't have the power that other people have, they can feel the effects. They know the differences. So women are completely blinded by the privileges they have. They're completely blinded by the power they have. And the issue comes down to women truly believe, males and females actually think alike, but in different ways. So I'll give it to you like this. So I was a major. I majored in cell and molecular biology, and one of my classes was physics. And we went over Newton's laws of motion. And we all know that the third law of motion is for every reaction, there's an opposite equal reaction.
Right.
So the way my physics teacher broke it down, he actually made it a little bit more detailed. And he said, if body A imposes a force on body B, body B imposes a force on body A that is equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So in other words, when two things clash, hit head on, the force is equal, is the same. But and it moves backwards in the opposite direction at the same magnitude. So if it travels 10 feet to the left, it's also going to travel 10 feet to the right. So what's happening with men and women are just like these vehicles. They're clashing. They're doing the exact same things to each other, and they don't realize it. Both the male and female, they approach relationships with a slave and slave owner mentality. So women actually believe that men were created to serve them. Women believe that men were put on this planet to serve and worship them and work for them.
I was not taught
that a man is to go to work and work his fingers to the bone until he dies so that she can have a soft life and just ride easy.
Yeah.
Women really believe that.
I wasn't taught that.
But not only do they believe it, the men work towards that.
And that's where
I'm more so taught to serve.
Men
My
are
husband, my
frustrated
family.
at. And the reason why they're frustrated is because men are ruled by their sex drive. A lot of
Men have been put out as a responsibility for making money, providing for the family. I don't know if that so much cause women to have a soft life, because if women are like how I may have worked somewhere where I wanted to learn a trade that could improve the other skills that I had, or I would be in school for something. But saying that men should work down to the bones or whatever to give us a soft life, all women don't have a soft life because of that. You do have that women like that that's like, you need to be paying while I stay home and relax. But with children, and if you cook and clean and actually are the type of person that does stuff, it's not a soft life.
A lot of women don't understand that sex is a real need for men. To the
Sex is a
point
need
where
for
women
men.
think that men just want sex all the time. They don't understand that a lot of
They need
times
to be able to
it's more of a
procreate.
need as
Natural
opposed
biology.
to a want. So men find themselves unconsciously chasing women, and they feel like they're being punished for chasing these women, and they are being taxed for their biology. Men feel like they are being taxed for their biology. So women realize this. So this is where the men who might have access to women, this is where they start calling these men simps, because they are led by their biology, and they start to placate to the delusions of the woman and her power-hungry self. And so when a man falls for that, other men don't respect that, because it's like you not being a man and having self-control, you letting this woman manipulate your biology for that. So this is where the conflict come in. Right? So this all I do is like, this is my thing. I really sit down here and analyze and understand what's going on. Women don't understand the male world at all. So for me, I'm just a conduit. I can communicate the male issues to women who actually want to be better people.
Can we talk about, let's say, the top 3 male issues that you have to usually communicate to women?
Lord have mercy. The number one thing is the stress that men have to deal with in the world that is not the same as women. Okay? Because women really have it in their mind that men are not being trained. They're just not being taught how to communicate. They're not being taught how to feel. Women really think that this is an educational difference between men and women, as opposed to a neurological and biological difference. They don't understand that. So they don't understand that the male has a threshold of what he can handle and what he cannot handle. So women don't understand that they're placing an enormous amount of pressure and weight on men that exceed the capabilities of males by nature, which is part of the reason why so many males fail, because by nature, males are not social creatures. The male's nature is designed in the wild to spend all his time and energy trying to build himself up to be a competitor against other men, to conquer them, to win the reward of being able to pass his genes along. And as a result of that, the male is not wired to be a caretaker. He is not wired to be, quote unquote, social and family oriented. He's not wired to be monogamous. So you now take this person out of a individual where he has to be really solo. You take him out of a solo, one man, every man for himself environment, and put him in a social system and now tell him to do everything that goes against
His
how he's
nature.
wired. From thoughts, behaviors, sex,
Okay.
everything. It all goes against the male's nature. And then the women, because women hate self, I figured out women hate themselves
Yep.
and they hate other women.
Yes. Oh my God.
So because of that,
I mean, but
because women do not have
I done experienced
camaraderie
it.
amongst themselves, they have no loyalty amongst themselves, and they have no support amongst themselves. They have abandoned their relationships with their true supporters that could help them in child rearing and everything, and they look to men to replace women and take on the duties of women. That's what they're doing. And so they're trying to put so much weight on men being caretakers, helpers in the house, making all this money, competing with other men. But it's messed up because women also inhibit male development by coddling males too much, stepping in and handling conflict for males to the point where they can't integrate socially. They can't be competitors. So the male is really hindered. Then when he gets into a relationship, he's not been able to juggle all of this stuff. And since the women are narcissistic and don't know anything about males, the woman is only caring about what's good for her, what she wants. He's not doing what she wants him to do, so he's failing.
Right.
Right? So this is where all the conflict comes in. And the men are not going to be the ones to change this. It's going to be the women to change it because the male can only do so much. He has a threshold. And this is the part that women don't understand, which is the reason why I started this educational process with learning men.
Well, do you also, because I can see the value of you actually mentoring the men about women. Do you happen to do that?
Yes, if they ask.
Got you. Okay.
You know, because we got to understand, men don't respect women. Let's just
Nope.
keep it a bug, right? Men do not respect women. They don't respect the intelligence of women. And I understand to a degree.
Right. Yeah.
Because women are very, very delusional. And they don't know anything. You can take a woman with a PhD. She can have a medical degree. She can have money in the bank. But this woman is totally ignorant when it comes to relation. Played, she will fall to her emotions and still not be able to see anything clearly. And knowing that women do not understand males and what makes a male, she can't have any logical or rational feedback that can actually help a male on anything really in his life. So this is why men ultimately don't respect women because they know that women don't know anything about them. And then on top of that,
Most don't care to learn either.
because women make terrible decisions when it comes to sex and things like that, the men can't trust them there, right? It makes sense. And then on top of that, if a man wants to knock you down and just smash you, he ain't trying to hear nothing you got to say anyway. So there's 3 levels, 3 layers of why men ain't listening to women. So I don't talk to men. I don't teach men nothing unless they genuinely want my help. Otherwise, I don't got nothing to say to them, really.
Right. I was gonna say, I feel like it's a bag there to be made.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. But I gotta ask you this, right?
It makes sense.
What do you see as the biggest misconception society has about women's ability to lead compared to men? Because we just had Kamala Harris, right, versus Trump, and we got a guy. You know, again, I'm just outside looking in. We got a guy that's a felon, that openly racist or says racist thing, has started incited a riot. Like, he's just clearly not the best candidate for the job. So how is it that, you know, you have a black woman, quote unquote, say what you will, but she sounds more qualified. She's actually already the vice president. Like, what is the misconception about this?
I don't really think there's a misconception when you look at the state of just women, right? Because you got to think about this. Women don't care about male issues. And men are cracking right now. They under a whole lot of pressure, and nobody's listening to people like Jordan Peterson, the women specifically. Now the men listening to them, but you got Jordan Peterson out here saying stuff. You got Scott Galloway out here saying things. And these are all men's issues where men are on the brink of, just blowing up. And women they don't care. As a matter of fact, the women are doing things that are triggering these men to make things worse, and it's like nobody's hearing these males' issues. So men, as they see that women don't care about what's going on with them, and they steady pushing these philosophies, messing up the children, these different sexualities and all this, they see it as being illogical, which a lot of it is, right? And the women can't see clearly. The women can't even handle their own lives. They can't make good decisions for their own lives, let alone a country, okay? Then you have ratchet 304 type women endorsing. That was a big mistake. Why are you getting entertainers, these types of entertainers at that, right, to speak to the demographic? That tells you the mentality of the demographic that you're appealing to, which the average person sees as delusional, reckless, and the problem in society. Do you think they're going to vote for you? That is, you know what I mean?
That's a good point. And I even heard like a podcast where some black men felt that it was almost disgraceful. Like this is what you think of us. That
Yes.
This is what you have to go do
Yes.
to get the black vote.
Yeah.
Versus just speaking to us like human beings.
Because it is disrespectful. Because at the end of the day, just check out all of the presidents that wanted to appeal to black folks, and what did they do? It was all entertainment. Why did they like Clinton? Because Clinton was smoking weed and playing the saxophone, and he was getting head in the office. Hot sauce in my bag swag. Dab on him. This all you gotta do. And so now you get this woman, when we are in a new age and things are getting really bad, and you up against Donald Trump, a white man, listen, you're gonna have to really show because at the end of the day, a man is a man. And they will choose a man before they choose a woman, especially when you keep showing that you have no logic and no rationale behind what you're doing, because the things that the people are having a problem with, you're showing to be exacerbating them. You're showing that you're gonna make this even worse. So now it's a lesser of two evils things. And they'll rather go with what they know as opposed to going with something that they see is going to take them down the path they already are complaining about. They don't want to go down.
That's deep. This whole election was strange. Do you think now that Trump is president, right? We just got to accept it. I don't know what side you land on. I'm not going to ask you that. But now that we're here, do you think anything will change? Right, for you specifically, because it does seem like he does have, you see him talk about the abortions. You see him talk about deporting. Like he's just very straightforward and almost scary in a sense that if you're on the other side.
Well, see, for me, because I understand that, when it comes to government and politics, you got layers. The most influence you ever gonna have is on your local political level, right? So The grassroots is where all of the power and the change really happen. It's not so far away like that. So people concerned about this abortion thing. Okay. The part that I see the problem with is if you're not making exceptions for incest, rape, and all of this, you're giving men a pass to do whatever they want to do with no consequence. That's on one side of the equation. But then the other side of the equation, which is where I've been teaching, I'm teaching you the nature of men.
Right.
And I done showed you what men are about.
Exactly.
So the onus is on you to close your legs.
I say it all the time.
Women have a problem.
Close your legs.
Where they want to be
no to
whores. I'm coming to see. I see why men think the way they think about women. Women want to be whores.
Yes, they do.
They want to be sexually reckless. They want to do this.
Yeah.
Nobody has to beg them. Nobody has to force them.
No.
They're wanting to do this. Because they, and this is what I don't understand.
They enjoy prostituting their
body. This is what I don't understand. Women are out here saying that, oh, you need to trick on me, you need to take me, and you need to spend this money, spend this money. And I'm coming to realize, wait a minute, hold on. Ma'am, you want to screw him more than he want to screw you. You can't wait to give up the box.
Yeah.
You have a million reasons why you have sex. You sleep, you jump from penis to penis.
Yeah.
Just because you want to get revenge. Your way of getting revenge is to sleep with a man for free, another one. Your way of getting to try to prove that you better than another woman is to sleep with a man, to have sex.
Yeah.
Your language is sex. If you want to take a flight, you have sex. If you want to get a promotion, you have sex. If you want to feel loved, you have sex. If you want attention, you have sex.
Right.
But you want somebody to pay you for sex.
Right.
No.
When you're giving it away free.
The cost for sex is attention. That's all you need is attention and penis. Because
Low
if you
value
tell a woman
prostitutes.
to close her legs and stop having sex, she'll act like you're trying to kill her.
Yeah.
So the question now becomes, is why do you want to get paid for sex?
And women don't realize they act a lot like
That's how you
men.
communicate, through sex. Because this abortion thing, outside of the stuff that I already done said, this abortion thing wouldn't really be messing with you
society.
if you didn't want to have sex.
Women follow men.
If sex didn't rule your life. So now this is they're upset because they can't do what they want to do and now be held accountable and responsible for their life. Because see, women get to evade consequence. Women get to throw stones and hide their hand and then point the finger at men.
They behave like
women
men
do not
teach.
Want to be held accountable. See, now, this ain't never been me. Because see, I'm ex-military.
Women don't even want
I've been on my own.
Women, children, female children.
All my life. So this accountability thing, this ain't never been no issue for me. I didn't realize it was really this big of an issue for women. But women do. Throw stones and hide their hand. And they get to evade consequence by blaming it on men. And they get to get out of pregnancies. And it's so funny because women want to say that that birth control should be made for men. And I'm like, no, birth control was made for the right gender. Because see, that's your woman. You got the power to say no.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to.
They
don't want to say no.
To have sex as recklessly as you want to.
Without
that's
consequence.
Not even your nature as a woman.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Sure ain't.
See, the nature of a male is sex.
Right.
His whole existence, biologically,
passing on his genes,
is to fight to get opportunities to pass his DNA across as many females as possible.
Yeah.
That's his whole life goal on a biological level. The life goal of a female is not that. A female don't have to do all of that to get no sex, to pass her genes along. She don't have to. Her job is to pick quality. So she's supposed to be turning down most men, and she ain't supposed to be open all season like that.
Yeah.
But women want to be open all season like that. They want to be able to have as much sex as they want to.
That's why these women mad.
Act
I don't know why they mad at her.
This is your desire. Your desire is to have sex. Your desire is to do this. So now that you want to do this,
I completely understand everything she's saying. And I'm a woman that's been married almost 30 years.
It's now no longer your responsibility. You want to blame him for everything. But why do you desire what you desire?
That's why I don't deal with trying to teach women.
See,
unless they really want to, because most of them don't. They're not going to listen, they're not going to do it.
Women actually closing their legs. See, they don't agree with the things that would lead the women to close their legs, which is the beginning of all of my teachings, to teach the truth about the male in order to get women to clank, clank.
But can we acknowledge if a man got up here and said the exact same thing you just said, they would label him misogynist?
Of course they would. Because, like I said before, women don't listen to men. Women think that men were created to serve them. So if you ain't serving them, they don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Because
I was never taught that. My mother was not like that.
That this
or my
is
grandmother.
We need to teach males to do this. Women want men to be women. Women want society to transform
but majority of women is
into
how she's saying. I mean, it's the truth.
Women hate women. Women hate each other.
Yeah.
But they want to get a man and then make him embody all of the characteristics of a woman.
But they hate women.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah, it's just confusing.
They get mad when he don't act like a woman.
It all makes sense. Trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, wanting your cake and eat it too. I think all of that had everything to do with women. Coming up with these things had everything to do with trying to figure out what a woman wants, because women want it all. And that's how marketing has been
they don't care
directed
to cooperate,
to give women
compromise,
the illusion that
or
you can
understand men.
To even think that you can have it all, that is
women,
a sign of narcissism.
Women definitely
it's
have an issue with accountability.
Women want the world to revolve
They want to
around
act like
them.
they're perfect.
Each and every last woman. Women want their own man. They don't want to share the men. Even though that is the more logical way that things would actually work out. Women don't want to do that, even because that's not the nature of a man, to be stuck with one person. But the woman wants to stick that man to one person, which is her, which is to take men away from their own reality, make men go against their own nature and trap him with her.
Right.
And she don't care about what you going through, what you thinking, how you feel, as long as you serving her. Yeah. That's where this thing, happy life, happy wife, happy life come from.
But that's really not how
narcissism.
So wouldn't you say that? So
in that, when you actually do start understanding,
been manipulated just as much as women have been?
Both are willing to cooperate and compromise in some way.
Patriarchy, just because it's patriarchy, don't mean that men benefit from this. Actually, men are suffering a great deal from this, right? Women are suffering, and it's only a small few people that's making a boatload of money off of all this dysfunction, because this is dysfunctional. And both parties have been lied to, both the male and the female. And they both have unrealistic expectations of each other. Yeah. But the reason why they stuck together is all because of sex. It's sex. And so men and women think they need to be together
the relationship
because
is just about
of their
sex,
sexual desire.
There's other ways to have
men and women
intimacy.
are not compatible. They're opposites. If body A imposes a force on body B imposes a force on body A that is equal in magnitude
It's
and
like trying to
opposite in
put two
direction,
magnets
they're
together
clashing.
But
from
every now and
the
then you'll see that
opposite
couple, right?
ends.
And I've experienced this
They
now with
don't
my
stick
fiance,
together.
where
It's
they
friction.
just click.
Lots
It's
of friction.
like them two just belong together. You ever seen that couple where you're like, damn, they just are perfect for each other?
That's
So
rare.
when is
Like
that,
me and my
right?
husband.
Very rarely.
It's rare.
I've only met one, and this was a white couple. And the thing about it is, like, it was like they could finish. It's almost like they was twins.
That's how
Right.
me and my
It
husband
was
is.
almost like they was twins.
Right.
Yeah. We're so much alike.
But
it's crazy.
with that,
It's
it
actually
has
why
to
we've
be
been married
something
so long,
totally
almost 30
It's
years.
not of the body.
One more year, it'd be 30
It's not
years.
of the body.
We've been
And
together.
a lot of people do not want people that don't fit their stereotypical idea of beauty, attraction, or anything, right? So that's a very, very, very rare occurrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it a lot either, but I have seen it.
When it comes to men and women, that's just very rare. So,
Yeah.
You're always going to have your anomalies and exceptions to the rule, right? 10-year-olds are in the 5th grade.
And it's why
but that
male
ain't
and
saying
female
that you won't see
relationships,
no
marriages
10-year-olds
don't
with no
last.
PhDs. But we're not looking
Because
at
we're so
10-year-olds with
different. And most women
PhDs
are
and then expecting every
have an
other 10-year-old to
expectation
do
to
it
make
and be
men
like,
their
what's something wrong
slaves.
with you? Because you can't do it. I know a 10-year-old
Like
that
when,
got a double
you got the
master's.
people that be like, sprinkle,
Okay?
sprinkle,
Those are
and
prodigies. That's what you call a
teaching
prodigy.
you how to
That's what you call an anomaly. Okay?
pick
Right?
high
So
value
yeah,
man, and they should be paying
we'll
everything
have
while you
those,
just lay
right?
back, like
But the general rule
not even
is
caring about how they
men
actually
and women
feel
ain't compatible. Oil and water
and how
don't mix.
difficult that
Ain't
could
never
be
mixed.
for
The
them
problem
in
is we
the way that
trying to
society is set
mix
up.
oil and water and force it to be together.
Yeah.
So
Oil and water don't
now
mix.
you have this endless fight between men and women. And somebody gonna have to give up something.
Yeah.
If the male gives up, if the male plays to the woman's rules, that male is gonna suffer. He's going to suffer. He's not going to feel free. He's going to be forced to sleep with one woman. And we know, listen, I don't know nobody in here eating the same thing every single day. If you call yourself meal prepping, you're going to be bored with that shit about the third day. Third day.
But we're seeing the relationships evolve. We're seeing men have women and get married to another woman. We're seeing men and women that have open relationships. We're seeing people
My
live
mother told me
non-traditional now.
Yeah.
every day
But
my
these
husband come
people are
home,
still not doing what
always
they
look
want to
good
do. You'll
and
have
do
people
different stuff,
that
change
are
up your
open a
hair, your
relationship
makeup,
only
everything.
because they don't
So
want to
he feel like
lose
he
the
comes
person.
home
They
to a
still want
different
to stay
woman.
attached to him. So they'll agree to something that they really ain't rocking with, right? Just so that they can stay attached or keep that person in their life, right? So
And a lot of times it takes men
you
until
might
they get
see
a
people
certain
getting
age to
married,
actually,
but
when the
the
testosterone drops,
reason behind
too.
the
That's
marriage
why some people
matters, right?
feel
So like, you got these content
why they
creators,
wouldn't
who are
want
all in this
younger
soft life
men
stuff or whatever. And I just did a show yesterday because
force them to
it's
be
this
with
chick
one woman when that's not how
that,
they are at their
she was
nature.
trying to do this soft life, this, gold digging type of thing.
Yeah, gold
And she
diggers.
called herself
Yeah.
marrying this quote unquote high value dude that's supposed to be taking care of everything.
Yeah.
Well, guess what happened? She found out that man was essaying her 2-year-old and 4-year-old daughter.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, people getting married, but what you getting married for? And who are you marrying? People don't even know who they dealing with. These people don't understand. They do no study. No, people do not understand human psychology. And not only do they not understand human psychology, they don't even understand the psychology of the opposite sex that they're trying to be involved with. They don't understand the motivations behind people's actions, right? Because everybody's moving based on sexual
My
desire.
husband and I both took psychology classes.
No stable relationship or partnership
I actually
can
kept
be
going
built
because I wanted
on
to become a
sex.
psychologist.
If you build your house on quicksand, that's like building a house on quicksand. Building on
What she
sexual
teaches
desire.
is rare.
Listen,
Most people ain't gonna speak out like
you're not
this.
going to keep a man's sexual attention after a certain period of time. You're just not going to do it. It's going to get old.
Well, I don't know. Well, for some people, right? they thrive in, because, you know, when you're out here singing, you just doing it's like you rolling the dice. This shit might be good, it might not be good, and you might, you know. But when you have somebody that you know, like, I feel like you could take it to deeper levels than you can if you just out here just having casual
Well,
sex.
you can, because see, now you're talking about intimacy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, most people are in relationships with liars. Most people are in relationships who can't even be with people who can't be honest with themselves. See, intimacy is not about sex. Intimacy is about closeness. And in order to be close to somebody, you have to explore the depths of that person's soul. You have to be able to explore the depths of that person's mind. And you have to be trusted to be able to hold that information and nurture that person. Well, one thing is, people can't be trusted. You really can't even trust the person that you're with. Because what do people do when you let them into your world? They find things that they can
Find all the
hold.
flaws.
They try to find flaws, and then what they
Hold
want to
against
do,
you.
they want to hold it against you and use it as a weapon
Right.
to hurt you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? This is one of the reasons why men don't even trust women, because men know once a man get burned by a woman, you scar that person for life because they learn through experience. Right? And women are notorious for finding information that they can blackmail and use to hurt a person with. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because they want control.
Right.
Yeah.
They want to own. Right? And if she feel like she's hurt,
We've
wants to go
experienced
low.
that
She
from
wants to
even
go as low as she
linking
can to
together
blame.
with other women.
Right? So how can you truly be intimate with
who
people who
so-called
have to tell
organizations,
themselves a lie?
movements
They
type.
can't face their own demons.
You
They
don't
have to
want to deal
pretend
with
to be
them.
something that they're not, and then they
They
can't
try
even
to
trust you.
use
Ain't no
stuff
real intimacy there. It's
a
not.
fact.
that they
So
think
speaking of,
they'll,
right?
they'll
And I
lie
don't know,
on
and
you.
you can
Women are
stop me
very
if you don't want to
deceitful
touch
and
on it, but
nasty.
you know, it's on YouTube.
They
So
nastier
Oh yeah,
than
no, I
men.
know you was gonna ask.
yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
just
I'm
want,
waiting on it because
yeah,
I was
I don't
waiting. I
have
was
no
like, damn, is he
female
gonna ask me?
friends.
I'm waiting. Go ahead.
but we, you know, because I just, you know, you're
Women are
you're so
nasty.
knowledgeable. I just be wanting to pick your brain on stuff. But
I deal with
you know,
women
we have was it Bailey
way
TV?
older than me.
You ain't even gotta say her name, but you
Yeah.
messed it up
And a
and good.
few
You
I
messed
might
it
talk
up.
to. I
Quote
don't deal with
unquote your
women like
ex.
that. I don't
You
care
know,
to teach
she
them
threw shots
or
at you.
anything.
You know what I'm
You have to
saying?
literally
She
want to
basically
come
said
and
you groomed her
learn.
into a relationship,
Most
which is the
women will
wildest
say
shit
they
I've
do
heard. How do you groom
and
somebody
learn,
into a
but they
relationship? But
won't.
anyway,
They won't change their
and she
behavior.
basically threw just a lot of different accusations at you. You know what I'm saying? Basically saying you're a fraud. You know, and things like that. So what do you have to say about the quote unquote you're a fraud? Because I did start seeing people start commenting, oh, I watched this video and I don't look at her the same. I've seen people actually react to that. And again, me and you talked off camera, and we said it's never about the truth anymore. It's about who
Yep.
can tell the best
Best
story.
story.
And sometimes the people that can
Yep.
tell the best story
People
can
don't want to hear the
actually
truth.
control the minds of the people,
Yep.
which
They want to
then
hear
will have the
stories.
people turning on you. And
They
you know,
they
we're
want to
public
keep
figures, right?
staying in a fake
You're out here, you're
realities.
doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? You're preaching your message, and then something like this hits you.
It's sad a lot of
One,
women try
are
to
you
say she
okay?
changed her tune, but she not.
When
She's saying
things
the
go
same
public
stuff.
about something
She
so
just saying
intimate,
that women need to get it
you know, we
together.
wear, you know,
And she know that
you know
most
how
women
it
don't
goes.
want
We
to
wear
now.
it,
She didn't know
but
that
that
women
shit
were
does
like
hurt.
that.
Like somebody that you actually fuck with, somebody that you actually pour time and energy into to go online and make accusations, that hurts.
It hurts. So here's the thing. See, she didn't like the fact that I'm not as emotional as her. Her whole goal was to try to hurt me however she could. So
Typical
she
women.
was the type of person that I
Just
just could
sad.
not mentally handle. I couldn't mentally withstand the stuff that she was putting me through. So I actually broke up with her in January, right? And so we had been broken up for 4 months, but I'm the type of person that's like, we can
You can
remain
still be
friends. We don't
friends,
have
right.
to be together. It don't have to
Right.
be no beef. Because
Right.
I ain't never done nothing to you. I ain't never done nothing but try to be a good friend to you.
Right.
But she was putting me through a lot of hell. She was suicidal. She would always talk about being suicidal, that she had these dark thoughts. She would even tell me that she would see demon faces. Like, she was really going through some mental stuff, right? And she was really causing me a lot of pain.
Wow.
And like I was physically hurting me. I couldn't deal with her. And so I broke up with her in January. And fast forward 4 months later, she thought, I guess she thought it was a game that I would not move on. Well, she found out that I moved on with someone else after 4 months. 4 months after we broke up, I finally moved on. And I'm still with my current girlfriend that I moved on with. When she found out that I actually moved on, I was on a TikTok live talking about my new book that I had just created. She came in the comment section and she started doing some hoorah stuff. And she, in the comment section, because I was telling the people, I said, y'all might hear that I date women or whatever. You just got to understand, I ain't trying to get with you. I got somebody, I'm cool. And she come in the comment section and she say, yeah, she dating somebody in her book club. So I turn around, I see that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm dating somebody in my book club. My moderator saw her and immediately blocked her because she started crap in the comment section. She calls me while I'm
Typical
on
female
live and
behavior.
starts screaming and hollering at me. Why you block me?
When men
Why
don't
you
want to be with
I'm
them,
like, my hand ain't even
they
on the
want to
camera. I
slash your
didn't block
tires,
you.
key your car,
Yes, you did,
ruin your
screaming. And
next
I mean, she's screaming
relationship,
at the
keep
top
your
of her
children
lungs.
from
Why
you.
would you tell them that you moved
Yeah.
on? Why
Most
would
women
you
are
tell them?
nasty.
Because you know why? Because she was a struggling content creator. And so she had a breakup.
This is why she's come to the conclusion of how women are. And she talks about how she thought women were, say this is the baseline. She thought women were at least here so that she could bring them up to here. But the more she got around women, even dating women, she saw that they was at the bottom with the men. Basically, men and women are on the same level. So can't no woman change the societies and learning to be held accountable for things if they down here. It's easy for men to accept things that they have done to hold themselves accountable, but a lot of women can't handle that. They like to live in a delusion like they're perfect or something, and will try to sabotage. Don't matter if you're a man or a woman that's dated them, they will try to sabotage your next relationship, keep children from you. Like I said, key your car. They just nasty. Like how she said, a lot of women are like that. And now she understands why most men don't want to deal with them. And she's not on nobody's side. That's what I love. You want to know truth. But that's rare to find people like that too. And that's how me and my husband is. You might read my book, Position Your Man to Win. And the book is for people who, because most want to feel like they're in a traditional relationship. But the thing is, if you want to be in an actual relationship with men, it's a lot of stuff in my book that you gotta do. You have to be able to compromise, cooperate, and accept the nature of men. And me and my husband's relationship is rare. So it's for people though who don't understand why men and women's relationships are the way that they are. And she's just trying to help. And I get it. So women need to stop being mad because somebody is trying to tell you to be accountable. I say it all the time. You control the narrative. Whether you have a child with someone or not, whether you give sex or not, you don't want to be with men, sleeping around with a whole bunch of women, then close your legs, period. Don't do none of this. Keep your legs closed. Because when you get pregnant and you're upset because you want an abortion or the man don't want to deal with it or whatnot, you the one chose to open up your legs. and I've said it before, women will have babies with men and then later talk about how bad of a man he is, this horrible baby daddy or whatever, but they chose to lay up with him and get pregnant. Women don't like being held accountable. It's sad, but it's true. And you can't get mad at Princella because she's telling the truth. She said the truth about men. She's saying the truth about women. Don't get mad. Just accept the truth. Move on. That's all you can do. Anyways, if you like my content, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, okay? Bisous, bisous. Until next time. Bye.
LOL, come along with me. Living out loud is the place to be. LOL, LOL, come along with me. Living out loud is the place to be.